One of the most common questions that we get here at MuseThemes is how to better work with PDF documents in your website. So right now, if you have a website and you have a PDF that you want users to view, you basically just create a link and somebody can download it. We've created a viewer now, however, for your site where you can embed a PDF. And as you see here on our Litigate template, this area in here is actually the PDF itself. So you get a sample of how it looks, and you can even scroll down within the frame. We have a little page count indicator here, and there are some other tools that we can see. So let me jump into Muse and show you how to set this up. It's super simple, but there's nothing else like this out on the market for viewing PDFs in your site. So in Muse, I already have the widget loaded in the library panel. It's called PDF Viewer. Let's drag that out. Okay. And now let's take a look at the setup options. This panel is really simple. So the first thing we have is just adding our PDF file in. So let's click Add File, and I'm going to select the lab workbook for our upcoming lab here at Adobe Max and click Open. Okay, so now the PDF itself is loaded in. Now we have fitting options. So this is the PDF view. Right now it's set to fit to bounding box. And what that means is it's going to fit itself to the dimensions of the widget you have here. So this kind of blue frame around the outside. So if I just stretch this a little bit taller, and let's preview that in the browser and see how it looks. So you can see that the PDF is showing up nicely. It's within that frame that we've set in Muse. And you can see these controls on the bottom for zooming out, saving the PDF, printing it, etc. So let's go back into Muse and let's look at other fitting options. We could do something that's kind of a mix of full browser width and limited height by just adding the 100% width to this area. So now that it's touching the left and right sides of the browser and we preview it like this, you can see that we do get a full width viewer. The only tough part about this is if a user is scrolling down past it, once they scroll into the PDF area, they might end up scrolling within there too much. So that's an interesting way to use it. And lastly, you can change this setting to just be full screen. And when we do that, if we preview this in the browser, we just get the PDF embedded full screen along with the controls at the bottom. So there's lots of different ways that you can embed this to make it look really nice, but what I'd recommend is that you leave the fit to bounding box option selected, and we like seeing the PDF in just kind of a nice small little area like this that looks really slick and it integrates really well into a website. So the last setting we need to talk about here is the Incompatible browser message. This plugin is a pre-built plugin that is not compatible on the latest Internet Explorer browsers, so 10 and the Edge browser, and it also has some trouble rendering on Firefox for Mac. Now, we tried to get around these issues. However, the flaw or the issue itself is actually in the browser. It's not in the plugin. So unfortunately, if your user is using one of those browsers and they have, let's say, an old version of Adobe Reader installed, or their PDF viewer within the application or the browser isn't installed correctly, they may have trouble seeing this. Now, the great thing though about it is that we did include a fallback. So let me go ahead first and I'm going to center this in the page just like that. Okay, and let me preview this in the browser. So I'm using Chrome in OS X here, but let's copy this link. Let's open up Firefox and I'll paste it in. Okay, so now you see that instead of seeing the full PDF, we get this block of text and it says, it appears you don't have Adobe Reader or PDF support in this web browser. But then below that, it says, click here to download the PDF. So this is a fallback that we've integrated into the widget. If a user doesn't have the ability to see the plugin, they still get the link to download the PDF themselves to their computer. This is the way they would have been doing it anyway in Muse. So I think this is a great solution to deal with the incompatibility. You can also customize this line here, and that's the last setting within the flyout panel, this message right here. So you can put anything you want in there, and then it will always provide the link to download the PDF. I hope you love this widget as much as we do. We think it works really well for sites like the Litigate template. And if you have any questions or concerns about it, please don't hesitate to let us know. Thanks again, and cheers.